Hi again, Gregg Bell, the News Tribune. Well, it's over. The 3-week search for Pete Carroll's replacement as Seahawks head coach ended on Wednesday morning. Mike Macdonald is going to be the 9th head coach in Seahawks franchise history that began back in 1976. He is another defensive first head coach. That dates to Jim Mora in 2009, succeeding Mike Holmgren. And then, of course, Pete Carroll came in 2010 and had the 14-year run that ended on January 10th. So why'd they do it? Well, two main reasons. One, fix what's broken. The worst part of the Seahawks team is their defense. They were 25th overall last year, sunk to 30th. They were 30th against the run in 2022, sunk to 31st this past season. Pete Carroll tried to change schemes from his trusted 4-3 to a 3-4, 3-4 hybrid and some mixes. He had outside linebackers as his primary pass rushers. He had only 2 downfield linebackers, and that was inside, and it didn't work. Here comes Mike Macdonald. He runs varied schemes, and he runs disguised coverages and blitzes that have absolutely befuddled the NFL. The Ravens this past season led the NFL in sacks, in takeaways, and in points allowed. That's the first NFL defense to ever do that in one regular season. The other reason Mike Macdonald is the head coach, he did what the Seahawks can't do, and until they do, will never get to where they want to go, and that's beat the 49ers. Mike Macdonald's defense did it just last month on Christmas night, completely dominating Brock Purdy in San Francisco on its home field. 4 interceptions for Purdy, 53% completion rate for Purdy, his second worst start of his young NFL career. And the Super Bowl bound 49ers got trounced by Mike Macdonald's defense just 1 month ago. That certainly got Seattle's attention. The Seahawks have lost 5 in a row to San Francisco and are way behind them, especially defense against San Francisco's offense in the NFC West. And I keep writing and saying it, but the Seahawks are not getting anywhere they want to go. They aren't going to get out of the division. They aren't going to have home playoff games, and they aren't going to go to the Super Bowl until they can beat San Francisco. And Mike Macdonald is absolutely a nod toward that. How did this happen? Well, purposely, the Seahawks waited. John Schneider, the general manager, waited until he could talk to Mike Macdonald, which is why this process has lasted 3 weeks. NFL rules are, for interviewing coaches that are still in the NFL postseason, you have to wait basically until they're over to have in-person interviews. The season for Baltimore just ended on Sunday when they lost the AFC title game to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. In that game, Macdonald's defense held Mahomes and the Chiefs scoreless in the second half, under 100 yards in the second half. Really didn't allow anything after the first 2 drives of that game that Baltimore lost 17-10 on its home field. So the Seahawks had to wait till the Ravens were done to talk to Macdonald for the first time. John Schneider flew on the Allen family's private plane to Baltimore to do that on Tuesday morning. Came home Tuesday afternoon, and then Wednesday, Macdonald was in the Seahawks headquarters in Renton for a second interview. They were not going to hire any head coach until that coach at least had been in the building, which Macdonald had not been in Renton until Wednesday morning. Once he did that, that was the final deal, final step to get a 6-year contract done. The disguises and the changing they change at the snap, the Ravens do in their schemes. It really befuddled C.J. Stroud in Houston, whose play caller Bobby Slowick was also someone the Seahawks had interviewed in this process, potentially being the head coach. In the divisional round, Stroud and the Texans couldn't do anything against the changing defenses. At the snap, it would look like 2 deep coverage and then would switch to single high safety coverage once the ball was snapped. It's those kind of disguises that make the scheme for Macdonald really unique. He's 36 years old. He's half the age of Pete Carroll. He's got to be more than half as good as the Seahawks defense has been the last 2 years to get the job done in Seattle. Now on offense, the big question is, who is he going to bring in as an offensive coordinator? And what is his vision, along with John Schneider's, at quarterback beyond Geno Smith, who turns 34 this year with 2 years remaining on his deal? We expect a press conference in Renton, team headquarters, soon to introduce Mike Macdonald as the 9th head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. All my coverage is at thenewstribune.com as always, and on Twitter at GBellSeattle. Once again, thank you for watching.